James asks, what did you discover about yourself during this quarantine that you might not have under normal circumstances? One of the things that I learned, and this is actually going to tie into another question I was asked by Daniel, which said like your recommendations for people on how they can shift or change the way they see themselves. And then James's question about what did I discover about myself during this quarantine that I might not have under normal circumstances. And this one's an interesting one. I have danced for 20 years, all right? And I'm about to give something away now. That's half my life, okay? I've been in dance for half of my life, 20 years. And yeah, there, when you spend half of your life, half of your adult life, especially, right? Doing something, doing one thing mainly, you attach your identity to that. I'll tell you that it's tricky, when everyone knows you a certain way and then that way is not possible, that way is not available to you, you start to question like what is your own self-worth, what is your identity, who are you, and that was one thing that I had learned through this quarantine, which is I am whatever the hell I want to be. I wasn't dancing all the time, that's been a career of mine, but I was also shifting towards public speaking and more into coaching. And I'd already made that shift before quarantine. But before I made that shift, it took me a minute, to be like, oh, how can I do all of these things? I know dance. And I'm going to share a story about a friend of mine who is a pilot. And obviously, we all know that travel is not really happening to the same degree that it was before. A lot of layoffs and lost work in that industry. And of course, we're not even allowed to leave the US to go to a lot of places. So that's another level. But when I was talking to him, there were a couple of occasions that we had spoken, and he was just sad and miserable and really upset about this entire situation. Like, I lost all my work. And I'm like, me too. I got all my gigs for this year gone. They are gone. Poof. Like in an instant. Like I've never seen things disappear that quickly, other than possibly chocolate if you leave that in front of me and you turn your head the other way, right? But yeah, for me, this 2020, all my work disappeared. Everything I had planned for this year in terms of income to manage my own life and my business and all that stuff, gone. And to be honest, I don't even know what's going to happen with 2021, because considering the way the United States is handling this crisis, it is it's really questionable, what actually is going to come out of it. But what I looked at is I have a lot of other skills, right? Like dance is one way that I have channeled my personality, my intelligence, my knowledge, my training, my experience, and my skills. That's what dance is, right? I am all of those other things more than I am a dancer. That's what makes me who I am, not dance. It's what I'm channeling myself into. And so this was how I started the fitness stuff, right? I was like, well, I'm not uncomfortable being in front of the camera. I also don't really care about how I look. I know I hope I look presentable today. This is a little bit of effort, but for those of you who had seen me through the quarantine fitness or who see me 3 times a week in our private group, sometimes I just come in there like did she just stick her finger in an electrical socket? Because she looks crazy right now. So I realized though that I don't mind, being in front of the camera like this. I enjoy fitness. I enjoy movement. I know my body. I understand it just like the way I understand it with dance. I like people. I like to help people. Here's another way I can help people besides just helping them become better at dancing. I can help them to stay fit and stay engaged and stay happy. With dance, I bring a certain level of energy and positive energy to my dance, to the room that I'm in. And so I take that same thing to fitness. I mean, and the 2 months that I was doing it every single day, I did 60 days straight at 10 a.m. every single day. And let me tell you, that was not easy for me. But not once did I ever show up to any of those fitness sessions upset about anything. Upset about the fact that I did not make the money I needed to pay my rent. for example. Yeah, I never showed up with carrying my problems and then projecting them or displaying them to other people, right? I always showed up with the idea that you have your own shit you're dealing with. It would be really ignorant of me to think you don't. And so why do you need mine as well, right? And so that's one of the ways that I realize all the skills, all the things that I bring that are positive to dance, all of this knowledge that I have of my body that I've been taking to dance, I can take that and re-channel it, to fitness, which is what I did. And so going back to the story about my friend who's a pilot, he was saying that, he doesn't have any work. The airline, like, he got fired. He's not being hired right now. Like, no one's traveling there. He's really upset about the situation. And I was like, but you are more than a pilot. I mean, also just to become a pilot, like, that's even a next level than dancer, right? Like, pilot for a commercial airline where you are in charge of transporting people to another place, they trust you with that. So the kind of training you had to go through, the kind of uh, um, intellect, intelligence, perseverance, commitment, devotion, passion, all of those things that you put into getting your whatever 20,000 flight hours or whatever to just become a pilot, that's you. That's you more than the pilot is you, right? And that's what I would say I have learned from all of this is we need to redefine what we identify with, I think we sometimes identify with possessions and labels, and perhaps even associations. But really, it's the things that can't be taken away from you, right? Like, for me, yeah, you could take dance away from me, but you can't take all the experience that I have. You can't take away the passion that I have for life. You can't take away the fact that I'm generally a positive person. You can't take away my desire to help other people. You can't take that away. And I will always be able to find a way to redirect that to another direction, to another channel. And that's the idea of, like, your identity, like, in terms of how you identify. If you want to change the way you see yourself, find out which labels limit you, and then those same labels that you feel encompass who you are. And if you don't have that label, if someone's not referring to you with that label, that you are no longer who you are, then think about what it took to get that label. What did you go through? What did you have to learn? What did you have to endure? What struggles, what ups and downs, what passion do you have behind getting that label? And then think about that. And that's much more who you are, really, than anything else. Oh, damn, that went real deep, eh?